Wow. Well, we could just sit and look at that all afternoon. If you've ever taken a walk outside and felt calmer after you took that walk, you weren't just making that up. Being outdoors, even for 20 minutes, can actually have a huge positive impact on your health. So our medical expert, Dr. Kohli, joins us now with more on what this study suggests, because I think anybody who, not just here in the beauty of Colorado, but anybody who goes outside and breathes in fresh air will feel better. What did this study say?
It was fascinating. In fact, now I'm going to start prescribing nature
Sure.
to my patients. It's called the nature pill, and we do it sometimes in medicine. But what they did is they took people and they put them outside in nature for at least 10 minutes. And it didn't have to be fancy nature. It could just be a park or a tree-lined street. And then they actually measured the cortisol levels in their saliva before and after, and they saw a dramatic decrease, up to a 20% decrease in cortisol, even in the stress hormone adrenaline. So it's not just in your head that you feel better. Your stress hormones are actually going down, and your body is going from fight or flight to rest and relaxation. It's really incredible.
I mean, it makes sense. When you're outside, you have to kind of once in a while. I mean, even when I see people, though, with all their ear pods in and everything else, I know they're listening to something else. You still are forced to look around.
And that's a great point, Kim. You don't actually have to be doing anything specific. You don't have to be walking. You don't have to be jogging. The only thing you can't do is be on your phone.
Yeah.
So that's the only restriction. So
it said that specifically?
Yes,
Okay.
because that negates the effects. The screen time takes away. So you have to be immersed in nature, and you have to be somehow consuming nature, whether it's visually, whether it's through other senses, like a sense of smell. You're listening to the birds chirping, you're listening to the ducks quacking, whatever it is. But you have to be somehow engaged with your environment.
And so people will hear this and go, great, I can get 20 minutes. But it's really more than that. What are the other health benefits? And I guess there are so many to reducing your stress.
This is incredible. And this is why I say as a cardiologist, I'm prescribing this. It lowers your blood pressure and your heart rate to be in nature. It makes you think better, so your cognitive function actually starts to go up. It increases energy, so people feel more energetic and actually are able to do more tasks after they spend time in nature, especially if that happens during the early morning hours, because that's when our circadian rhythm sort of aligns with the natural light that we get.
If you're sleeping well.
Yeah. Well, and that's the last one, Phil. It helps us sleep better.
It does?
It does.
Okay.
It does for those same reasons. And again, that's if you do morning light and then you go out around dusk and you start to see that sunset. That really does help to start increasing melatonin.
So like a little walk at night or something like that might actually help?
Yep. So what I tell people is have your coffee outside on the deck. If you can't go outside because it's too cold, then you can even sit by a plant, in fact, and do it, or look out the window, as long as you're interacting with some nature element. Try to do the same at lunchtime, and then after dinner or before dinner, depending on what time you eat, a little sunset walk. See that sun go down. It really can get you ready for bed.
Tells your body. Right? That's a good thing.
Right.
So I am now grateful for my little dog that takes 12 walks a day, which does put you outside.
Well, he's going to help you live longer, Kim.
Now, I mean, there are a lot of people that are saying, hey, good for you, but I live kind of in an urban jungle, or I live in a high rise. What do you suggest?
So any type of nature, like I said. So if you can't get to any nature at all, even a house plant will do, in fact. But if you can't get to a house plant, a city park is a great place to do it. And so the rule is to get your dose of nature. It's called the 25-3 rule. So 20 minutes in nature, at least 3 times a week. So that can even include like sitting at the end of your driveway if you don't want to get in the car and drive to the park.
Okay.
Okay, so that's 3 times a week. Then 5 hours a month. So that's 1 afternoon a month. You got to go into the wilderness, so a little deeper nature. So I'm talking Rocky Mountain National Park, up in the high country, what have you. Do a little trail or a hike or something. And then 3 days a year, completely off the grid. No phone, no TV, no screens, but 3 days a year. It doesn't have to be 3 consecutive days, but try to make it so that once a quarter, once, every few months, 4 months, you're getting out there. Check out.
When we talk about these amazing benefits, and I like how you said fancy nature. This would be fancy nature out here in Colorado with the mountains. Yeah. Will people get, if they start doing this, like anything health-wise, will they get sort of addicted to it or need to keep doing it?
They will, because of that chemical reaction that it triggers in your brain. Your nervous system gets used to that stimulus, and when you don't get it, you will kind of feel like you've missed out on something. Now, the dose is important too, because 20 minutes is the secret, kind of the inflection point. 10 minutes starts to get some benefits. 20 is where you have peak benefits. After 30, you still get some, but it starts to drop off. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a full hour. And a lot of people say to me, oh, I don't have 20 minutes a day. Take 5. because it's a dose-response relationship. So you'll get some benefit even at 5 minutes, but 20 is really the spot where we start to see those stress hormones.
People scroll for way more than 5 minutes a day.
Isn't
That's
it
the
true?
thing.
Everybody
Yeah.
scrolls for way
So
more than
true,
5 minutes a day.
right?
Yeah, we can all do it.
Yes, we
okay.
can.
Yes.
All right. That's the easiest recommendation you've made in a long time,
Isn't
Dr.
it?
Kohli.
And there's no insurance hassles.
I know.
It's a prescription everyone can fill.
I know it. You're not telling me to eat 5 pounds of kale, nothing else. Okay, thank you.